I'm your host, Vinny Berry. You are listening to the Wrestleville podcast, part of the Fans First Sports Network, where you can find this episode and all our other episodes where you snag your downloads or at Wrestleville.com. If you listen to us on Spotify and iTunes, please give us likes and reviews. All that good stuff goes a long, long way. My guest this episode is the NWA television champion, Bryan Idol. How you doing, man?
Good, man. Sorry, I got to do this one on the phone today, so it's not a steady cam, so it's in my hand, but doing what we can. I got an earpiece going, so that's good.
Yeah, that's good. No, everything will work out. So you've been wrestling for 26 years, which is kudos to you, man.
It's a long goddamn time. Yeah. Most people don't realize. I used to keep quiet about it because I used to feel like it, was like probably bizarre to say that long, and people would maybe think I'm older than I am. But the truth is, I started when I was 16, so it's been a while. But yeah, this is man, we got to be right up on the anniversary of the 26th year. Damn, it's got to be like this week.
Oh, wow.
I believe it would be this week on Wednesday. It would be, so 2 days from now would be the 26th anniversary. If I'm not mistaken, it'd be the 26th anniversary when I started. I'd have to look it up. If you have Google Facts, Rosh Hashanah, 1999.
Well, how does one stay in professional wrestling that long? I mean, there's got to be a lot of conditioning, right?
I mean, yeah, you got to take care of yourself, but I would say it's more the mental aspect and, the damage that you don't do to yourself reputationally is the real skill. It takes a lot to be able to hang in the game this long. It's a dirty game, and there's just so much you could run into, and then forget about the physical part. Most people fall apart by then, but I started pretty young, so like I said, it's still not actually old, but I'll get there one day.
Right. Yeah, and it's political, right? It's political.
Well, that goes into that whole thing, yeah.
Sure.
That's what I'm saying, man. Reputationally and just dealing with people, that's the real challenge. I think that causes a lot of people to leave the business prematurely, and it is what it is, Sometimes it's hard to land a gig where you can really make money. I've always been lucky. I've either been a part of something cool or at least had my own thing going, with Fight the World Wrestling and the schools, where I was always making a steady amount of money where I could actually do this for a living. And like, I didn't work at Walmart or Trader Joe's. And I've been able to, focus on making money in the wrestling business. So then it's a lot easier, to stay in the game when you're like, okay, this is the only way I survive, and I feed myself. So it's, that helps.
Yeah. And I know a lot of wrestlers that do have jobs outside of wrestling, and then I know some who are diehard that, will make ring gear, will make
That's what I'm saying. There's all different avenues within the business you could find to make money. It all just depends on the level of what you want. Like I said, some people it's fine. Some people want to work regular jobs and whatever. Ain't nothing wrong with that. I'm saying for me, if you're like, what's the key to my longevity? It's that I had no other choice, and I've positioned myself to do it this way.
Now, when did you have a wrestling school? What's the name of it?
Fight the World Wrestling Academy. Over the years, at one time I had 3 of them running at once. Then COVID kind of killed all that. But I currently am down to 1. It's in Pinellas Park, Florida. I'm a trainer there. Natalia Markova is a trainer there. Mike Mondo is a trainer there. That's pretty awesome. I mean, I've trained. My most 2 current bragging points would be, Zelina Vega. I don't know if she still has a title, but she had a title recently, and so did JC Jane. Has the TNA and the WWE. I trained both of them, so I trained a million people, but those 2 panned out pretty good for me, as bragging wise.
Right.
But I've trained some really, really good wrestlers along the way. Guys like Angel Ortiz and a bunch of others. I don't always get credit for it on people's Wikipedias, but the reality is I'm the one who trained these people, so it's love.
And what was it about training for you that you wanted to get in there and do that? Because you just had the experience and
No, at first, I was saying in the early years, I probably wasn't a conventional trainer, and And, maybe I was a little overzealous and it was part of a bigger plan of things that I had going as we had our own venue and stuff. And it just seemed like a nice supplemental way to, make some money. And I mean, there was things I was certainly capable of teaching, but I would say it wasn't until a few more years of doing that where I realized, okay, I have a lot of value as a teacher. And then years beyond that, you know what I mean? I think it would be pretty much ironclad to say, like, I mean, I certainly, I would consider myself, if you were like from the year 2013 on, I was just viewed as a trainer, I would say, on one of the best there is. So, I'm saying, like, I have a resume that of people that came out of there that shows that. And I've literally reshaped wrestling communities in places like New York and even in Florida. I mean, those are two major markets, and I've put so many guys out there. So many people have been through my schools. So, I mean, it's pretty cool when you look back on it. It's not something I always talk about or brag about, but it is pretty cool to see the fingerprints I left on some of that stuff. And uh, it's a gig, and it's like I like it, and sometimes it's really rewarding because you get some real superstars, and it's cool to be able to take a hand in helping them and molding them. And it's like I said, you see your fingerprints on something. Like obviously, I see my fingerprints on that on those women's titles. Like I know what I did to help get them there, and I'm sure deep down they appreciate it, and that's cool. It's a cool thing.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
And
And
I would say, if you're looking for the inside track on it, I would just say fundamentals are key, and very big on fundamentals, and that's all that really matters in my mind. So,
yeah, and that goes with anything, right?
pretty much. But it's people's versions of what fundamentals are. And I'm not going to sit here and break it all down, but my versions of what the fundamentals are in wrestling are very appropriate. Like I said, I've sent many people to tryouts. Some of them signed, some of them didn't. But even when when WWE ran the Next Gen show, funny coincidence, I'm in the trailer of the show. You know what I'm saying? So they're showing me training a guy in the trailer of the show. So whatever that's worth.
You know, you said you've trained a lot of people, but I'm sure there's a lot of people that found out that it wasn't for them, right? Because wrestling
Oh
isn't for everybody.
yeah, yeah. And I've always structured it in such where people have, like, the way I run my school is you get 30 days to get in there. So it's 8 classes. So you basically get in there 8 times, for 3 hours in a clip and decide, hey, is this something I really want to do? And I've had plenty of people be like, yeah, I said, not for me. And that's cool. And that's why I leave it like that. I'm not one of those dudes that makes them pay a bunch of money up front. And then it's like, oh, you don't like it? Too bad. I got your money, bro. Uh, Not my style. So I think that's pretty cool with me. And I've always structured it that way. And I'm proud of that. So, you know,
So what for the first 8 classes, they don't pay or they pay?
oh, no, you pay 1 month, which is 250. So, but it's $250. And then if you want to quit after 30 days, split. And then if you don't, then you have to start, that's when the real, well, look, I say that it sounds worse than it is. Here's the reality. You get 30 days, you pay 250. If you don't like it, you cancel. And then if you don't cancel, you basically sign up for the year, you're paying 250 a month for the year, which is only $3,000, which is still cheaper than plenty of wrestling schools and all that. So I do that on purpose. I'm not trying to make $1,000,000 on it. It's just a little side thing that we like to do. And like I said, we like seeing our fingerprints on stuff. We like having a team of people that are dedicated to, helping each other and better each other's position in wrestling. So it all comes with it. We built like a little army and we love it. So it's like, it's pretty cool. So I think it's fair. It's reasonable. And like I said, I've had plenty of people do those, not even they do 2 of the classes and they're like, hey man, this ain't for me. I'm like, all right, cool. So it doesn't bother me. Like it's fine.
Right. Yeah, and when you think about it, with the time that you're putting in them, but plus the expenses that it takes to keep a place up like that,
There you go.
it's not it really doesn't sound like a whole lot of money.
No, it's a very fair deal. And like I said, I've always been that guy. I've always made it fair. And I've always, even in the New York market where things cost way more. I mean, back then, up until 2020, I charged 150 a month. It's like nothing. 8 classes for 150 a month. You know what I mean? I laugh at the people that used to act like it was expensive. I'm like, I don't know where you're looking to go, but that ain't going to work. But it's whatever. So like I said, I mean, we run a good thing. It's fun. It's not there. I don't see any negatives coming out of it really. So, and like I said, like you said, it's some people I'm cut out for it, and that's cool. It's fine.
Yeah, absolutely. You had said the fundamentals. There's so many things when it comes to professional wrestling, right?
Right.
A lot. Do you think the average student gets a little overwhelmed coming in when they find out, hey man, it's personality, it's talking on the mic, it's bumps, it's conditioning, it's promos, it's gear, it's
Exactly. All this, yeah.
charisma. Yeah, it's
I think the prevailing thing is most people have a version of what they think it is in their head. I think the reality is it's often a not similar thing that exists in reality. So it's usually a little bit of a shell shock. It's very seldom that somebody comes in and truly knows what to expect. So I think, that's what I run into a lot. Like they're just kind of shell shocked, like, oh my God, this really hurts. Oh my God, this is really hard. I gotta actually remember stuff. I'm not just jumping around with a smile on my face. And again, I don't run things, none of us do. Like we're not drill sergeants. I don't treat it like an episode of Puff Enough. I mean, there's times when I give speeches and things I say are very strongly worded, but like I said, nobody's in there I'm not there to stroke my own ego and neither is Natalia or Mikey. And like, we don't care about, like, we don't, it's like, it's not about us. We're like, hey man, we're just trying to tell you, it's like, it's like a teacher in a school, like you think I mean, your sixth grade math teacher, you think they're intimidated by you doing math? I doubt it. You know what I'm saying? That's what it feels like. So we're like, but I've seen wrestling schools where the trainers are nobodies. So then they bring these people and they just, rape squish them into the ground. And they're like, oh, you see how great I am? You understand how great I am to be able to do this? What's wrong with you? And like, I mean, that's what some people end up paying for, and that's lame. So we never want it to be like a boot camp or any of this shit. And it's just, we're like, here's the answers of what you need to do if you want to do this and you want to achieve your goal. And a lot of people have different goals. Like, not everybody's goal is to be a WWE champion or a Hall of Famer. And, I haven't trained any of those yet. I mean, champion, yes. Hall of Famer, no. Uh, but it's that's not everybody's goal. So people just want to do it locally or whatever. So we don't judge people or push them around because of that. But yeah, I mean that's the wrestling school gig. Yeah,
yeah, and there's things to build on, right? You're not going to be able to teach them everything you've known or learned for 26 years in a month or even a year, right? You just build on, build on, build on, build on, right?
it is like a pyramid, and you get the building blocks, and it gets a little easier as you go up because once you got the big foundation on the fundamentals, it's a lot easier to start stacking pieces on there. We do offer one thing I started offering lately is cool is I've had people call me when they got tryout camps and this and that. So I do offer like a personal one where it's not in a big group and it's like just one-on-one and you can cover a lot more ground a lot faster. And those I can do like in 8 lessons and I charge like $1,500, which again, I think is very fair. And we really cover, hey, this is what they're doing in the tryouts. Or some people are just indie workers and they're like, what do I need to do to be a TV worker? So it's all the things you mentioned, the look, the gear, the fundamentals of this, that. And we just go through and I'm just like, hey, I've done it with a few people now. And I think they're very happy with the results. And we go through and they're like, hey, we can fix this, 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 this. You kind of do this bad. Let's work on these and try to find solutions and holes and fix the holes in their game. So I kind of like that for veteran guys a lot better than just making veteran people join the school on a weekly basis. Because I think once you're out there doing it, it's a lot harder to just be like, I'm going to start from square one. And now I'm standing next to a guy who never took a body slam. It's kind of hard. So it's like, hey, you're better off doing this on the side with me. And it's more beneficial. So that's cool too. But that's basically how we run it.
Yeah, like almost like consulting work, right?
Pretty much, yeah.
Yeah.
And we just fix what we can. We're like, hey, let's fix this.
Yeah, good deal.
And again, the last thing I'll set it with is if somebody goes, well, who the hell is he to know this? And I can't hide behind, well, 26 years, brother. Cause, I mean, I had a guy I never heard of this week tell me he wrestled for 19 years. And I was like, I live in the same area. I've literally never seen his face before in my life. Uh, so can't hide behind 26 years. It doesn't really mean anything. Uh, I would just say I'm paid to wrestle on TV right now. And I was part of another company, Evolve, that was actually WWE pay-per-views. And, so I have the understanding of what it's like to work as a TV wrestler. And independent wrestling and TV wrestling are honestly two different things. And unless you have somebody that understands that, you're not getting your most bang for your buck. And that's a fact. So I think that's what qualifies me is like, what are most people, if you ask me how to wrestle like an indie wrestler, it's a lot easier. If you ask me to wrestle like a TV wrestler, well, there's some challenges there. And again, unless you're on there doing it, and I'm not saying I'm the greatest, but I'm capable. I got a title here that says I'm such, and they don't just put this on anybody for no reason. And again, so you have to know something about what it's like to work on TV. So I think we're very big on that, and I think that's the most beneficial. I mean, in order to do that, you have to be somebody that's doing it. There's no like I see, like I said, I'm not hating on people, but I see so many times with people running wrestling schools, and I'm like, who is this guy? Like, and I'm not saying they're a bad trainer because you can learn a lot of great stuff from somebody that maybe necessarily nobody knows. But when it comes to the TV stuff, it's like, have you really ever worked in front of cameras? Like, do you understand where you need to be, what you need to do, and why, and what the difference is when you don't, and also how to work the crowd when you're on TV and all this. So it's a very different, animal. So you tend to want somebody that understands that. Plus, they know what people are looking for that run that. So like, if you ask me how to be on TV, I know what works. I know what the agents are going to say to me in the back. That's not going to work. You know what I'm saying? And I think it's, again, in the world of indie wrestling would disagree and be like, those things totally work, bro. And they'd be like, well, on TV, it ain't gonna. So, that's that's the thing you should look for. So.
Right. All right, let's switch gears a little bit. I want to talk about the National Wrestling Alliance. I grew up in the 80s and I was a big fan of Ric Flair, Kerry Von Erich, Dusty Rhodes and all those guys, Harley Race that wore the NWA title. How long have you been with the NWA? And I mean, you've been working pretty close with Billy Corgan and a lot of good stuff going on. What's happening?
So I first joined him in 2022, I think, right? Yeah, 2022 at some point. I don't think it was 23. I don't know. Pretty sure it was 2022. And I worked there for like around a year, and then I left for a while. Then we filmed the show Carneyland. And if you haven't seen Billy Corgan's Adventures in Carneyland, I'm not going to get into explaining it all, but there was this whole drama with me. And if you watch the show, it's, Vince Russo called me the best part of the show. So I thought that was an amazing compliment. It says it's not worth watching when I'm not on the episodes. So I thought that was cool. That said, I came back to the NWA. I signed my contract with them last June. So I'm in contract wise, I'm in my second year of my third year contract, my 3-year contract. So I've been under contract. Like I said, I completed the first year in June. So I'm 3 months into the second year of the term, which is where, and I signed as a wrestler and the national promoter. And what that basically means is I play a big hand in picking where we do the live events, which has changed a lot in the last year and a half, 2 years. Because I was doing that job before I signed the contract a little bit, like 6 months before. But, I have a hand where we do the live shows. Obviously, I'm big in the promotional end for the live crowd. And then on top of that, I wrestle for the company. So I'd say it's gone really well. I mean, before I took that job over, I think the last show or two they ran, I mean, one was like Crockett Cup 2024 or no, 2023. Yeah. Crockett Cup 2023 was like in the Carolinas somewhere in a big building. And that's on Carneyland. There was like literally 200 people there. So the crowds were way down, and Skyway Studios was frequently empty. And, we moved it down to Tampa for the studio tapings, and I moved it to some other places. And, we went from drawing 200 people to drawing almost 2,000. And our studio tapings are always packed out the door, and they're intentionally small, and they're still always packed out the door. So I would say, crowd wise, it's been a forgotten memory at this point, what it's like to go out there and wrestle in front of tumbleweeds for the NWA, which, I'm proud of. I'm really proud of it. I think the guys are too. I think a lot of wrestlers, I mean, there used to be, rumblings of like, it would be really nice to go out there and, have people watching us. And I'm saying now it's actually happening. So it's all going really well. Then the road food deal and what we have going now, which I think is really major. You can watch it on the Roku Sports channel every Tuesday. They replay it on Saturday. There's a 24/7 on demand channel on 208. It's called oh my god, it's Wrestling Central. Uh, and you can also watch it on demand if you search NWA Power. And I think you can watch the episodes on demand anytime from this season. So I think it's all really full, man. And that's a big deal. The numbers are huge. I've also overseen the redesign of the website for the company, um, which I'm really proud of because I feel like it definitely is more conducive to the bigger numbers that we're getting, as far as viewing us. And I think it's a little more accessible and cleaned up and enables fans to stay more engaged with our socials and stuff like that. And it's all still a work in progress, man. Like, we're just brand new on this Roku thing. We've been there like, a month and a half, July 29th in the debut. So still very new in the thing and still a lot of optimism and a lot of upside. So the numbers are very good. We're very happy and we just want to keep it going like that. And like I said, the company's been trending in a huge upward direction. I don't think it's by accident since I became the national promoter. And I do say, Billy is a key part of that. And he's a great guy to work with. And he really understands his game more than anybody. Want to give him credit for it because the one thing he's always done is kept everything in-house, building the people we have, not chasing, dudes from yesteryear every time they're available, not, you know what I mean? Not taking the focus off what we had here, making people earn what they got here and just not caving into the general noise, where people online complain about this. He doesn't just jump in that direction and say, oh, we're going to change course now. He's got a plan. He sticks with it. And I think he's great for that. So, I mean, like I said, man, all positives. I'm really pumped about what the NWA is doing in the last few years.
Is he pretty open to, suggestions, especially when you see something like, hey, Billy, I've been down this road before, man, and I know how this story ends. Is he open to stuff like that?
I mean, yeah, but it's not as easy as that, but it starts out that way. But yeah, no, I mean, but we're very close. So, uh, I think it gets funny because I think sometimes other people, like other wrestlers, get a glimpse of it, and it's probably a little off-putting to them because, like, we obviously talk to each other very differently, like as you would when you're very close friends with somebody, and neither one of us are the sugarcoating, BS type. So the way we say things in the moment comes with a lot of heckling and making fun of and, general ball busting. So it's pretty funny. Like, it is what you said is the very polite version, but I can't help but laugh when you say it. I don't want to be fake. So, like, the real version of what I would tell you is that's the starting point of it, but it usually is a little more heated than that and a lot more arguing. So it does tend to be pretty funny, but generally, it's not about, and the same thing, like, exactly how I present things is what you said. I don't speak a lot of opinion when it comes to business stuff. I speak out of like experience and precedent. So I think I've established that enough with Billy where he understands, like, hey, I don't think he's guessing here, or he's not just trying to be like, I could solve this problem and then throwing some crazy idea out. He knows if I say something, I'm usually going to back it up with something. Now, then he's going to weigh it, in his mind and say, does this make sense to me or do I care? And I think he's very fair and very good at that because I think if he caved into every idea I insisted on, I don't think that would be right either. And maybe it would work. But again, I think the balance, look, he's the boss at the end of the day. And so I would say in the simplest form of that answer, he's very good at taking suggestions because I don't think he has to take any. So when he does, and there are quite a few, I'm humble and happy that he does.
Yeah, and it's obvious he's a pretty smart man. He has a pretty good track record as a businessman, right?
I'd say.
Absolutely. Anybody that can keep a band together and, it appears that they're making money. So I would.
Well, they're making a lot of money. The together part hasn't always been the thing. Luckily for him, he's Billy Corgan and he's the centerpiece of it. But you can't blame all that on him either. There's a lot of other egos involved,
Sure.
and I can't speak on all that anyway. And I love those guys, and I told them, and they're all amazing. But you hear what people say about each other, and I think they all have valid points, honestly. But if I had to side with somebody, I'm not afraid to say I'm going to side with Billy Allison, who's also my boss, by the way. So, and I think they all understand that as well. So, but again, dude, the band is so cool. Like, I love touring with the Pumpkins. I've toured with them a million times already, and so, so yeah, back to what I was saying. The band's awesome, dude. I've toured with them a million times and been all over the world. So I love those guys and I love all that. But yeah, Billy's a great boss and he's a smart guy. It's just a fact.
When he took over the NWA, you could see all the posts on social media and everyone, what's he gonna do with it? And he came out with this 20-year plan, and everyone was like, "Oh, you can't run a business like that." And, like, what is he talking about? And hey, man, what is he in? It was probably 8 years.
8 years already. That's what I'm saying, man. Hey, I hope we make it to 20.
And
But
let
my
me tell
bank
you,
account hopes we make it to 20.
well, I'll tell you this. It's Hey, man, I like what he's doing. I haven't been this excited about the NWA since I was about 15, 16 years old, man. I mean,
I agree. And I think we're heading into the best year. Again, you got this TV deal. We're on a TV delay. So when all the future stuff lines up on TV, I think when you look at our roster, it's like, wow. So, I mean, I agree. I think he's doing a fine job. And I think there's some limitations to what he can do and how we do it. But I think we're getting very good at handling all that and navigating it. And I think it's a credit to Billy. And I think, like I said, he takes suggestions, he takes advice, but a lot of times we got to do a lot as well. Like we have to pick up a lot of slack and offset a lot of things on our end as talent. So it's it's just that's the ebb and flow of it all. But he's great, man. And you can criticize him all day. Everybody's an armchair quarterback. Everybody's a know-it-all. What's reality? You know what I mean? Like you don't want to insult people. I don't want to insult fans and whatever. And that's the thing. And my thing is just like stay a fan, man. Don't try to book it. Don't try to don't try to tell people how to run it. Like I get it. Like you'd be like, I really wanted to see this. There's a difference. You can say that. But when you're like, people are like, well, your father's an idiot. And I hate this guy because and it's like, dude, nobody cares.
yeah.
You know what I'm
Hey,
saying?
did you see that show last night? Did you see what they did in the main event? I hate
Yeah, like, yeah, I guess even that's still, like, on the line. I hate when it turns into, like, "Willie Porter, you spent all this money on so and so and blah, blah, blah." You know what I mean? Like, now they're not talking about what they're watching on TV, they're talking about Billy Corgan, the person, how he spends his money, who he brought in, like, man, it's more personal, and it's like, dude, we get it. Like, you read a couple blogs and, you read the Wikipedia on Carney Wrestler Talk, so now you think you're a worker, and it's like, it's so stupid, dude. And it's like, the real wrestlers don't even talk like that. And it's just corny. So I always laugh, dude, because I get people like that in my DMs and like they just start like talking like they're in the business. And I'm like, it's whatever, man. I'm like, you know what I mean? I don't even, I'm not walking around. I got the NWA television title sitting here with me, the 50 pounds that it weighs. And, I don't sit there and tell people, I'm a worker, I'm in the business. Like, I was like, dude, just shut up. You know what I mean? People like,
you ever wear that thing when you take the trash out?
I take this thing everywhere with me. And the reason why is because if you're not promoting the brand that you are the face of, what good are you? And so if people think I'm a marker or a weirdo because I'm walking around, first of all, the average person, and I try again, here's where we start sounding like a cocky, crazy maniac. But here's what I can tell you. The average person doesn't look like me. They're not the same size as me. They're not built like me. They don't have a face like mine or a deep voice like mine. I walk around, I'm this character because this character is me. You understand? Like I can't wash it off. Like, you know, there's no I'm not making a voice when I'm talking to you. There's no special makeup on my face. This is the hair I wear. You know what I'm saying? Like this is me. It doesn't wash off. So like Bryan Idol exists when he goes to the grocery store to buy avocados. I'm still the same guy. So I'm saying like bringing this belt with me is just letting someone know, hey, I am a part of this thing. And it's like, it's the same as if you wore your work shirt to the thing. And now somebody would say, well, I work at the movie theater. I wouldn't wear my work shirt out in public. And I would say, okay, but the movie theater is going to employ you. Maybe you would think differently if the movie theater was going out of business. And I'm not saying the NWA is going out of business, but I'm saying if the movie theater, if your job depended, let's just rephrase that differently. If the movie theater, if you knew it helped them to stay open by the personal establishment with you, then you might think about, like, if it was your, see what I'm saying? My brain's working slow. If it was your business, right? If you ran the movie theater, you'd be like, I'm gonna wear that movie theater shirt everywhere because you want everyone to ask, what's that movie theater? You're like, oh, you know, the one that's down over on 19 over there. Why don't you come on down and check it out sometime? It's a great place. Boom, you just got yourself a bunch of customers, right? Well, I'm the same way. I'm proud to be paid by the NWA. I'm proud to be one of the faces of the company. I'm proud of this legendary title. So yeah, I absolutely wear it everywhere I can. I drape it over me, and I want people to ask me about it. And as soon as they do, I hit them off with a website, I hit them off with a business card, and it's a small thing I can do to grow the brand. And plus, and the fun thing is, like I said, when you don't look like a Starbucks employee, people tend to get excited, and they're like, "Wow, I really met somebody." I mean, I can't tell you the amount of pictures I take on a daily basis in public. I just went to get a little snack out on the beach, and, I didn't have the title with me actually because it was raining out and I was walking. So I was like, not a good idea to bring it. But I was sitting there, but I can tell you this, I've walked that strip many a times with that title, and a little old lady recognized me. And first thing she wanted to do was take a selfie with me, talk to me. I told her, hey, have you checked it out on Roku? She's like, I sure have. She's like, I watched you win it on there. You see what I'm saying? So it doesn't hurt. And so I absolutely am proud to wear it everywhere and anywhere. And again, you mentioned names. Ric Flair held this title. Roddy Piper held this title. Ricky the Dragon Steamboat held this title. The Great Muta, Dusty Rhodes. I mean, it's a long list. Arn Anderson, obviously, Tully Blanchard, blah, blah, blah. I could name 500 wrestlers. They're all pretty good. They all had this title. Some of them had the exact red title. And it's prestigious. So, again, man, I'd wear it everywhere and anywhere. I don't care. I'd wear it to the bathroom if I could, if it wasn't so heavy. So, no shame in the game of that, man.
So what are you, last question, what do you hope to see NWA say next 2-3 years? And I wanted to ask you this too. Is there any chance for like road shows, like live shows? Like,
We're running it all the time, man. We're running two house shows up in New York, September 26th and 27th. Those aren't part of the TV tapings.
okay.
We have some more we're announcing probably next week. We're doing Riot Fest up in Chicago, 19th through the 21st, with those big bands: Weezer, Blink-182, Green Day, Weird Al. I mean, there's so many bands there. So we're there live for 3 days with all our top stars. So I mean, we're already kind of doing that. We've done, like I said, we did a couple of those loops in New York already. We do it in Chicago. So I mean, we're getting out there. We did like a grilled cheese festival in Sacramento. We were there for 2 days. So we are doing those kinds of things, and we're forever expanding on that and building on it. And it's the same thing. It's just another way to get the brand out there, to get people that never see it, never saw it, to see it. And, I think is great. I think we're going to keep growing and keep establishing that within a reason. And, as long as the support is there, I think we would just keep doing it. And if the support's not there, then we might have to think about rethinking it. But we haven't run into that problem, and I don't think we will. So I'm saying, like, I don't think the wrestling business the interest is there, man. Like, it's not hard. Where people run into pitfalls, like, you don't have people that look the part, that's a problem. If you don't have people that can figure out where to put on the shows, that's another problem. If you don't have the money or the means to execute certain things, that's a problem. So we don't really have any of those handicaps within reason. So there's no real reason why we should anticipate any of this not working. So we're all very proud of and like I said, each one of those things is not about money. That's just a component of it, but it says a lot to the talent that Billy's picked and others have picked, including myself. So it says a lot about who's there and how, regular people that are wrestling fans and ones that aren't even react to the believability of who they are and what they're watching. So I'm very proud of that. And I think we're going to continue deep into that direction and keep making headway. And it's like, man, it's like, we're the little engine that could, you know what I'm saying, man? You just keep moving and keep going, and if you believe it, they believe it.
Yeah, that's right. Hey, plug the website one more time and plug your school one more time.
All right, the website is nationalwrestlingalliance.com. Try spelling that. I can't help you. You can shortcut it to the live events by I always get confused. So let's just go to nationalwrestlingalliance.com. There's like 3 versions to like shortcut it. I think one of them is nwaliveevents.com or maybe, yeah, I think that's it. I can't check it right now without turning the screen off. And then, my website is, if you just care about Bryan Idol, you can go to all things Bryan Idol, BRYANIDOL.com. So BryanIdol.com. That has links to my company, Fight the World Wrestling, my wrestling school, Fight the World Wrestling, World Wrestling Academy. It's even got links to the NWA over there. And I would tell everybody, buy my new shirts. NWA just came out with 2 new shirts for me. One of them is really, really cool. The other one is just standard, which is also cool. But I'm saying for me, it's exciting to see my face on a shirt with the title. So that just came out. I would love it if people bought that. They're not expensive. They're like $25. That's it, man. That's, and that links to all my socials. NWA, National Wrestling Alliance website links to all their socials. So there's easy spots to land in from anywhere without having to log in or do anything like that. You just type those web addresses and you can chase it all over the internet.
All right. Well, thank you very much for giving me your time.
Thank you, bro. Any other questions? You got anything else you want? Sure. Last call.
No, I'm good, man.
All right. I'm glad I could talk your ear off.
You're listening to the Wrestleville podcast where the wrestling fan lives.